Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Let's get right to it. Watching this, that will become most likely Lee. And pretty soon, midweek, late week, potentially a hurricane by Thursday or Friday. Now, here's what's interesting with this, and I want to show you what I'm watching. This is what's left of Idalia. That is lifting up toward Canada. Not major impacts in eastern Canada. Always watching Newfoundland over toward Nova Scotia. Some gustier winds. Not a classified system, but this is kind of paving the way that may allow this to curve a little bit more. Let me tie that together. Super, super important for the forecast. So here's the eastern Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Lucia, Barbados, for example, Dominica, Saba, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis. You get back toward Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, two blobs here. I do think that one will develop. Prospects on that, early call on that would be staying out to sea. We'll put that on the back burner. This is the one that is developing. Now, again, there's a lot of convection, a lot of thunderstorm activity with it. The American model still has this becoming a hurricane. The European model has this becoming a hurricane and intensifying quickly Friday into Saturday. The Icon, which is the German model, has backed off a little bit, saying it's a tropical storm. I just checked in on the Canadian model, also a hurricane. Everything showing development. Now, let's break this down for you. Let me show you exactly what I'm seeing, especially for the northeastern Caribbean. At this point, on its heading now, what I'm seeing in the environment, and I'll show it to you, would keep the center of this developing hurricane just up to the north at least now a safe distance, but very close, and it is too close for comfort because you know how these things do kind of shift around. It may shift a little bit more away. I'll show you the tracks in a second, or a little bit closer. But at this point, it's still just kind of a be on alert situation. Anywhere from the Dominican Republic through Puerto Rico, swinging back towards St. Barts, St. Martin, watching Antigua, Barbuda, Anguilla, down through Martinique. So again, we need to be on alert. Please share this information. It does not mean it is definitely coming right into the Caribbean. It's just going to be a big system and a strong system that if there's any changes, we need to be ready for that. So this is what I'm seeing with it. Again, let me break it down right now. Here's the American model, the European model. They are the two best models out there. The European model is the best model. There's a million out there. These are the two best. European model, again, is not always right, but look how close in agreement they are. Now, here's the northeastern Caribbean. Here's the American model. If it stays on the track that the American model thinks right now, the computer model is kind of putting the output out there, that would keep the center of this system, either a hurricane or tropical storm, 225 miles away or 360 kilometers away. Hang with me for a second. The European model, if that stays on the track as of now, that would put the center 200 miles away or 320 kilometers to the north again of the island. So with that said, that is a safe distance. Anything really 150 miles away or roughly 275 kilometers away is a safe distance. That keeps hurricane winds away. That even keeps sustained tropical storm force winds away. That is good news. But with that said, you see how close it is overall, and that's why I want to express a lot of caution. So what I'm going to have to do is just take you day by day, give you the updates. I'll give you multiple updates a day if I see any big changes with this. Because again, if it's here, that's okay. Any little shift to the south, that would become a problem. So again, we're going to be on alert in these areas with that, and this is kind of the marker I'll be watching. And when I join you in the next video, we'll be seeing if it shifts a little bit more away, which would be good news, or a little bit closer, which wouldn't be good news. And if we need to take a lot of preparations or something like that, I will let you know. Based on the heading now, that's where it is. And look how it ties in with even the other models. So again, and I want to show you why. Why would it not just go due west? Why would it make a curve? I'm going to show you that in a second. Here's the modeling. Again, here's Puerto Rico, for example, and you see it west-northwest, then a little bit more of a curve. Even the H-WRF, that purple line in there, that's one of the Hurricane Center models. That does a pretty decent job, not always right, but a pretty decent job, all right on line. So if it stays like this, we're okay. Any shift to the south, not so okay. So again, that's what I'm going to be watching, the trends, not just with the models, but with the environment. Remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned what's left of Idalia. Now, that is super key. So let me show you what's going on here. Let me start with this. This is the European model. Here's the Caribbean right here. So we get back through the Bahamas, Florida, Cuba, Jamaica. Here's the area we're watching. Now, this is what's left of Idalia. Again, not a classified system. What it's doing, though, is kind of paving the way for a recurve. Remember the last few videos, I've been talking about high pressure being a blocker. If you have this H here, if you have this big H here, it's like a fence. It doesn't allow it to escape up to the north. But because Idalia has been hanging around, it actually kind of paves the way. It pushes the area of high pressure away, and that would allow it to curve a little bit. And again, a little bit's all we need. We just need that to happen. So you see here, let me take you out in time as we work our way into later in this week. And this is by the time we get into Thursday. So what I'm seeing is there's the big fence. Again, it's over here. So here again is the developing system. Should be a tropical storm by Thursday. And then after that, I'll show you the European model makes this a hurricane and a major hurricane at that. But here's still what's left of Idalia. So long this hangs around. We need this to hang around. That keeps this area of high pressure away enough so that it has a little bit of a curve. Now, here's the thing though, if what's left of Idalia just really fizzles quickly, that would allow high pressure to build back in a little bit more so and allow this to move a little bit more to the west. And that's why I want to caution on the heading now, it's good. Again, if there's any change with the leftovers of Idalia in that area of high pressure, that would be more of a problem. So that's exactly what I'm seeing. I like to let you know everything I'm seeing and thinking out there. I hope that made some sense. So that's why it would take a little curve, almost following Idalia. It's not really following it, but it's just allowing it to keep that area of high pressure off. But look what happens by the time we get into Saturday. Again, this would be a safe distance. It would be a very close call, very close approach. But again, a strengthening hurricane, close to a major hurricane by Saturday. The European model really makes this a strong system, and that's why it is a high concern. Anytime you have a close approach, you do have to be really on guard, as you well know, with these systems, because again, I'll be watching to see if there's any changes whatsoever. Then it starts to make a little bit more of a curve just off to the east of the Turks and Caicos, east of the Bahamas, north of Haiti, and north of the Dominican Republic by early next week. But let me show you something with that long term as well in a second. Let me get to the American model. And again, in the short term, the American model is very similar to the European model. So we've got Puerto Rico, Antigua and Barbuda. You get back through St. Lucia. And again, St. Lucia, Barbados, it's really north. That is more of the concern. I showed you those be on alert zones. So I'll take you out in time. This is as we work our way into Wednesday. Stop it here. By Wednesday, 2 days from now, this should be at least a tropical depression. The American model develops it a little bit slower, but still almost the same as the European model, making it a tropical storm late week. You see it spinning up, and then you see it kind of making that curve up to the north. We need that to happen. And again, it's for the same reasoning. The pattern out ahead of it is very fluid. It's very dynamic. It's changing a lot because of what's left of Idalia. So high pressure builds off and it starts to make the turn by Friday. Again, a hurricane at this point on Saturday. This is Saturday morning. Now on this heading, both the European and the American model would bring a few rain bands in. So you could get some tropical storm gusts, that sort of thing. Stuff we could generally handle. Again, we'll take that over taking that. And then again, moving this off toward the northwest as we go out in time. Turks and Caicos, Bahamas right here. By Sunday, it would be just off to the west. Now, looking down the road, does this come to the United States? Does this impact Canada? There is that possibility. Now, if you go out in time, the models go crazy. Again, you get further out in time. But with that said, high pressure may build in where it could actually build back toward the coast of the United States. That's a possibility. So at this point, my point is, it's not given that it starts to make the curve and just curves out. And by the way, Bermuda, I always have you in mind because talk about things curving out to sea. Well, we've got Bermuda, and again, we don't want anything coming to Bermuda. We like when things split like Franklin did. But with that said, again, this may not just take a curve. It may actually curve back. We have to wait and see on that. Again, the pattern is kind of rapidly changing, a little bit more so than typical. So taking a look at the winds, this is the wind tracker, and you can see it getting wrapped up. And by the way, I have kilometers an hour and miles per hour. So got you covered either way there. You see by the time we get into Wednesday, a little bit of red showing up. Those would be winds getting closer to 70 miles per hour or 110 kilometers an hour. That is close to hurricane force. And then it's a hurricane again late week into the weekend. See some of the yellow shading showing up? Those would be winds of 145 kilometers an hour or close to about 85 to 90 miles per hour. And then you see here, as we work our way into Saturday, this is by the time we get into Saturday morning, there could be some gustier winds near Anguilla, but again, the core, that's what we need to stay away. If it stays like this, that would be okay. That would keep the core of the winds offshore. And you see even some of the green, those are winds of 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles per hour. That's why, again, watching this system so ever closely. Again, you even see off the chart some purple shading in here telling me that this will become a major hurricane. Here are the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. Again, at this point, does it kind of curve up a little bit closer to Bermuda or back toward the United States? That's a big wait and see. That's almost a week from now. Now, the overall issue with this is not just that it's a tropical system or about to be, but all signs do point to strengthening. This is going out in time, 24 hours, 48 hours. This is 3 days from now. Get out toward 4 days from now. Almost all the models show consistent strengthening, and you see this color here, this kind of, I guess that's reddish, this redder shading here, that's a category 3. That's a major hurricane, and again, almost all the models get into that point. So it is going to be, it looks like it will be a major hurricane. Where it goes long term, still up in the air, and again, for the northeastern Caribbean, it is not out of the question. It moves in, but as of now, it looks to be just to the north, and I will let you know if I see any changes with that. Can't stress that enough. Next name on the list again is Lee. The leftovers of Gert, I didn't really even point those out. Those are still out there. Leftovers of Gert. Gert is still a classified system out there. Now, as we go throughout the day, we're going to get some scattered showers, and I want to show you the approach of this thing in a second. We're going to get some scattered showers. We have some near Colombia. We've seen some near the Dominican Republic. Costa Rica, we've had that flare up of some rain and storms. On the eastern Pacific side, this area in here is going to develop a little bit. But even if it does, that is going to be pulling away. Now, I could show you in a second. I want to show you the approach of the system. Now, for today, scattered afternoon showers especially. There's a few morning ones around, but mainly in the afternoon. Little impulse here near Trinidad and Tobago, generally north of Guyana. So St. Vincent of the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, slightly better chance of some rain and storms. Watching the Yucatan and Mexico pop-up shower. This is by tomorrow. Again, some scattered showers around tomorrow, but you see on your screen there's the leading edge of this system, and that's when we're hopeful it starts to make a turn. Again, on Tuesday, late tomorrow, I should be seeing some signs of a little more of a turn late tomorrow into Wednesday. If we see that turn, especially on Wednesday, that will be very good news to know that it's going to stay on that track and would put it just to the north. You see by the time we get into Wednesday overall, by the way, look at Cuba. Again, rain chance does pick up in spots. Honduras, it picks up. Scattered showers. There's that little impulse moving near Trinidad. Could see a better chance of rain. And then at that point, there's the developing system, and we'll see just how close it gets. So we need to be on alert in these areas in the northeastern Caribbean. Getting a look at some of the forecasts for today. And again, I've kind of shortened my forecast outlook a little bit just because there's so much attention on what's going on, as you well know, just off to the east of us out in the Atlantic. So again, Yucatan, 40% chance of shower or storm. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, we're looking at about a 50% chance. Leave your location in the comments and what weather you're getting. Again, this is a weather community, so everyone can kind of know what's going on. We do still have the areas of dust around. Thank you for leaving me the comments about that. Lower air quality. Rain chance isn't super high. U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, passing shower possible over toward St. Martin for today. So again, northeastern Caribbean. This is not a full prep mode yet. I always suggest do what makes you feel comfortable. We all have completely different means as far as what we can do. But at this point, again, it's still that just be on alert, raise the awareness. I want to thank you, by the way, for sharing this channel to get the word out about this system. Even if it stays to the north, we need the awareness about this system. Again, this new system will be very close either way, late week, Friday into the weekend, and then I'll be watching for that curve. So I've got you covered. You can see how closely I'm tracking it. Island by island, I've got you covered. Big island or small island, I'll be breaking it down for you. Hopefully it kind of stays on that track it is right now, and then long term, we'll see what happens. Any changes, I'll get in and do a new video and let you know. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get to those throughout the day. Thank you for your trust, and I hope you have a good day ahead.